Hello and welcome to today's lesson where we're looking at Porter's generic strategies. Now, to thrive in a competitive market, every business needs a clear strategy to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage over its competitors. Put another way, your firm's profitability is directly correlated with your chosen strategy. Porter's generic strategies is a tool that can help you select a clear strategy. Now, while every firm needs a clear strategy to succeed, that is not to say that there can't be more than one successful strategy within an industry. So for example, low-cost airlines such as Southwest in the US and Ryanair in Europe can be successful alongside airlines focused on luxury and personal service such as Delta and Emirates. The key point here is that having a clear strategy is what's important, not that one strategy is better than another. Now, Porter's generic strategies were laid out in the 1985 book Competitive Advantage by Michael Porter, and Porter says that there is only one way that firms can gain a sustainable advantage, and that is by offering greater value than their competitors. However, Porter says that there are three mechanisms or three generic strategies that you can leverage to deliver greater value than your competitors. These are cost leadership, meaning choosing to be the cheapest in the industry, differentiation, by choosing to create the most unique and desirable products in the industry, and finally focus, which is choosing to focus exclusively on a niche or niche within the market. Now, one thing to note about this diagram is that you usually see it drawn with this column labeled low cost, but we've used lowest cost here because it's more accurate. You don't win by being low cost, you win by being the lowest cost. Now, to complete the model, Porter makes two additions. First, breaking down the focus strategy into two parts, cost focus and differentiation focused. So cost focus means being the lowest cost provider within a niche market or niche market, while differentiation focus means being the most desirable offering within your niche. Second, by showing that failing to select a strategy or trying to mix and match strategies will result in below average profitability and strategic mediocrity, which Porter calls being stuck in the middle. So let's look at each part of the model in a bit more detail. So first we have the cost leadership strategy. Now, with this strategy, a firm sets out to become the lowest cost producer within its industry. Common ways firms go about becoming the lowest cost provider include leveraging economies of scale, creating low-cost production facilities, selling a bare bones version of a product or service, and employing tight cost control. Now, it's important to note here that a cost leadership strategy doesn't just mean deciding to be the cheapest. That's not enough, because a similar low-cost competitor could undercut your prices to steal your customers. You must look at what you can do differently from your competitors to sustain your position as the lowest cost producer. So examples of firms with a cost leadership strategy include Walmart, Southwest Airlines, Amazon, and Ryanair. Now, if you think about it for a moment, these companies sell cheaper products than their competitors. But note that although these companies are the lowest cost operators in their industry, they're still very profitable, just as profitable as companies using a differentiation strategy. So next we have differentiation strategy. And with this strategy, a firm makes its products or services unique to stand apart from its competitors. Common ways firms make their products and services unique include utilizing unique product features, unique branding or design, higher quality, and higher customer service levels. Now, because of the uniqueness of their offering, firms with a differentiation strategy usually price their offering higher than their competitors. Firms with this strategy often have loyal customers because of the perceived uniqueness of their products. Now, this loyalty in turn reduces direct rivalry with the firm's competitors. Examples of well-known firms using a differentiation strategy are Louis Vuitton, Apple, Lego, Harley-Davidson. If you think about it for a moment, each of these firms offers unique products compared with their competitors. Next, we have cost focus strategy, and with this strategy, a firm sets out to become the lowest cost producer within a specific niche or niche within the industry. The only difference between this strategy and cost leadership is that firms within this category target a narrow slice of an industry at the exclusion of all other segments. Examples of well-known firms using a cost-focused strategy include Monster Energy, SanDisk, and NetJets. So for example, Monster Energy operates in the energy drink niche of the soft drink market and aims to charge less than its most well-known competitor, Red Bull. So next we have differentiation focus strategy. And with this strategy, a firm sets out to become the most unique and desirable provider for a specific niche within the industry. The only difference between this strategy and differentiation is that firms with this strategy target a narrow slice of an industry at the exclusion of all other segments. Examples of well-known firms using this strategy include Whole Foods Market and Red Bull. So for example, Whole Foods Market focuses on the niche of selling natural and organic products. Now, its expensive products have earned it the nickname Whole Paycheck, but a significant amount of people are prepared to pay these prices to feel good about the food they eat. So finally, we have the stuck in the middle strategy. So firms that chase more than one generic strategy but fail to achieve any of them successfully are said to be stuck in the middle. They are neither inexpensive nor differentiated. Now, the reason why firms struggle to both differentiate and lead on cost is that differentiation is usually very expensive. Now, compared to differentiators, cost leaders, and focused companies, companies stuck in the middle are competitively disadvantaged. That said, a stuck-in-the-middle company can still make satisfactory profits if the industry is particularly profitable or its competitors are also strategically stuck in the middle. A couple of examples of well-known firms with a stuck-in-the-middle strategy include Sony and Sears. If you think about the TVs that Sony sells, then they're not really cheaper than other brands, but neither are they any more unique. So how do you use Porter's generic strategies? Well, here's a simple 3-step process you can follow. 1. If you haven't yet entered a market, use the 5 forces model to determine the market's attractiveness. If you're already in the market, you can still use the 5 forces model to understand better the forces affecting your market. Second, conduct a SWOT analysis for each generic strategy. The idea here is to understand the pros and cons of adopting each generic approach. Finally, once you've completed your SWOT analysis, you're in a position to select the most appropriate generic strategy for you, which is going to be the strategy that places you in the strongest strategic position. So one criticism of Porter's generic strategies is that although it provides a good rule of thumb for selecting your strategy, it's important to remember that you still need to think for yourself. For example, although the model suggests otherwise, it can sometimes be possible to combine strategies and not end up stuck in the middle. IKEA is an excellent example of a company that successfully combines cost leadership and differentiation. So IKEA sells furniture designed in-house and unique, but it also leads on cost by virtue of being flat packed and some other factors. So in summary, Porter's generic strategy ultimately says that there's only one way that firms can gain a sustainable advantage, and that's by offering greater value than their competitors. Now, that greater value can take one of 2 forms, either lower prices or better uniqueness. And you can apply both of these approaches to either the broad market or to a narrow niche within a broader market. So that's it for this lesson. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.